Russia's invasion of Ukraine came as a big shock to principal European countries. Up until the last moment, in fact, even in spite of American intelligence sharing, the two major countries in the European Union, namely France and Germany, did not really expect that Vladimir Putin would actually take that step. In a way, their reluctance to accept what intelligence seemed to be suggesting to them was a function of the way Europe has actually constructed its understanding of its own security and its economic model in the age of globalization. The working assumption was that as Russia became the main supplier of gas, of energy to Europe, it would be dependent on European markets, and it would not wish to rock the boat, so to say, and break a system that worked to its benefit as well. And those benefits included not just a secure and large lucrative market, but investments by Russians, oligarchs and others, and the ability to actually freely roam in Europe. On the European side, it really reflected a certain understanding of the political economy, and that was we would get Russian gas, it would be cheap, and that would help us continue being one of the world's major powerhouses in exporting manufactured goods. Manufacturing is economically the forte of Europe, and its strength relied on this deal with Russia. In fact, in retrospect in particular, it is really unconscionable that even after the annexation of Crimea, the Nord Stream 2 project went along, and the invasion came only a few months before it was going to become operational. Now, those assumptions are blown off water. Europe is faced with a major security challenge, threat, as was inscribed in NATO's new security document. And the Europeans are now scrambling to construct their own defense and security systems, possibly on the way to fulfill the big dream of France's current president, Emmanuel Macron, for Europe to have more strategic autonomy. The fact that Finland and Sweden, two militarily rather powerful and historically neutral countries, are joining NATO is also helping Europe feel more confident about its security. On the other hand, the war also exposed the weaknesses of Europe, and if it were not for the United States, probably Ukraine could not resist Russia as valiantly as it did, and ultimately it was the American security umbrella that was determining how Russia would continue its aggression, or would be contained in its aggression. So in the next few years, what awaits Europe is a reconstruction of its security, but also a reconstruction of its political economy. It starts, of course, with cutting off dependence on Russian energy sources for Europe's energy needs. Vladimir Putin pushes the Europeans to the brink by cutting off gas, by threatening to cut it off altogether, and testing the resilience of not just European polities, but also European publics. And of course, to the extent that he banks on the European public's unease and unhappiness with rising prices on the one hand, a cold winter coming without gas possibly on the other. He believes that he can actually force democratic countries, about which he always had been very contemptuous, to cave in politically. And in certain countries, notably in Hungary. And if the right wing has its way in a place like perhaps Italy, they may actually get there as well. But nonetheless, it's a struggle of wills, and Vladimir Putin himself is not doing all that well either. And whoever caves in first will have lost this contest of the wills, if you will.